Hi everyone, it's Paula. How are you? It is Monday. Oh, that makes it March 3rd. It's March. Oh. And I wanted to talk about things that help on a daily basis to do, activities to do that have helped me in my aphasia and my stroke survivor process of really maintaining or managing the highs and lows of the whole process. There's a lot of highs in regards to you can celebrate all your wins. At the same time, there are the next day after a great win can be a horrible day, and I don't mean like something horrible happens, but you can feel the strain of not being able to do things that you had before. So I wanted to talk about some of the things I started. Well, there's many things, and I'm focusing in on aphasia and how that had been my focus from day one, as relearning how to communicate again to me was one of the most important things I could do. Relearning how to speak, relearning how to um, eat, move my mouth, get my face back. And one of the things that was brought to my attention was a piece of equipment called the Abilex. And I do this Abilex equipment every day. And you're supposed to do it 3 times a day. And yeah, it's supposed to do it for 5 repetitions. I'm going to hold it up. And it's an equipment piece that you put in your mouth. And this is from my speech therapist. I had to order it myself from Trumbull Medical Instrumental in Canada. I'm pretty sure it was about $25, but it's called Abilex. Hopefully that came out right. Abilex. And it's been a piece to help me with my neck and all my muscles to work together, my jaw. I mean, all of this was, best way to say it is it was frozen. It wouldn't move. My face would not move. And it was to help me in regards to obviously eating and swallowing food, because we all, or many of us, had what's called NPO signs in the hospital. And NPO means nil per os in Latin, and it means nothing by mouth. And often patients have that for the day before surgery. There's no water, there's no drinking, and I was not allowed NPO to have any food. And the speech therapist came in and helped me, as I couldn't speak and I was hungry and I wanted to eat something. And I was trying to assure her, I would promise her, and we did through basic sign language pretty much, me using my fingers as best I could and trying to understand that I agreed to oatmeal and I would have teeny tiny bites. I called it like a lady, and I had my finger up like this, like a lady, teeny tiny bites, a little bit of tea, teeny tiny sips. And I promised her that so I could have some food, and that was fine. I mean, I'm an oatmeal eater. It wasn't like I wasn't, and I drink tea, so that worked. But one of the things she taught me, really before we even got to that conversation, was breathing properly, or diaphragmatic breathing. And certainly she didn't call it at that time, but I knew that's what it was. It's a process of calming the body down, calming the brain down, so you can focus on the thought pattern that's trying to come out. In my aphasia, that was what was occurring to me, is I was fighting so hard to say and communicate, and everything was just rushing my brain and nothing came out. So I couldn't say the words or form a phrase or form an organized thought. So diaphragmatic breathing is where you you can put your hand on your chest and your belly area. And I close my eyes, and I'm going to do one here. So if you want to do this with me, but you take a deep breath in and you should feel your belly extend, because the air should be coming into your lungs. And you hold it for 4 seconds and you breathe out. You can breathe out through your nose or your mouth. I I like to breathe out through my nose. I got used to that with yoga, but some people like to breathe out through the mouth. More advanced, you count 4 seconds, but you can just do it 2 seconds, 3 seconds. But you should do it when you're feeling stressed, or I recommend when you're in a situation, you're at the, I don't know, you're at the market and they're asking you, do you want this? And da, da, and you don't know what they're even asking you. So you have to take a moment and just go. You don't even have to hold yourself. You just take a breath. And do that 3 times. It allows your brain to get the oxygen it needs to do the task and help calm down the excited neurons that are going on as you're trying to form a phrase to answer the question. A lot of times the question, for example, at the deli or at the market is they're asking for a response of how much you want. And numbers were awful for me. So saying a quarter of a pound was just so awful to try to figure out how to say that, because it was 0.25, it was 1/4, and my head couldn't connect to saying 1/4 was a quarter of a pound. It couldn't connect to the languages of math and English, or words, numbers and words. So I struggled with that. And I'd have to take a deep breath. I'd have to do some diaphragmatic breathing. Using the diaphragm is the lower portion of the lower portion of the chest area. And that's why I want you to feel it, fill in, and then let go. And that's why you hold your hand to your belly and your chest. As mentioned, you may have seen some of this before, 4 seconds, or some more advanced types. Call it a mantra, call it meditation, but it's in the moment, and it's something that worked for me, and it's something I was reminded of, or really practiced right from the beginning of my stroke recovery from the speech therapist in the hospital, day one, of breathing techniques. It helped me tremendously. Other things that have helped me along the path, including that Abilex, was also tea. I am a tea drinker. I love my coffee. And I want to say this right. I am a coffee drinker. I gave up coffee. I gave up, I only have it on the weekends. I consider it a treat. Partly because of the price. It just skyrocketed. It was at the beginning of COVID when I got my stroke. But the other part was knowing that tea is a healing process, and knowing that green tea is one of the most important healing processes. So every day I have green tea in the morning. I recommend the Bigelow matcha green tea with turmeric. That has helped me. It does have caffeine, so it certainly does get me going. I have one of these, and then I have regular tea, usually store brand, but then I just have, tea, store brand. And I might have a little honey in my store brand, but I don't put honey in this matcha tea. And it's great for the brain. You can read about matcha, you can read about green tea, and find out more about it. You see my cat coming into the picture. The other one that I have is a tea at night, and this helps me sleep. It is traditional medicinals, organic turmeric and ginger with meadow root. It says joint support and digestion. Again, it's the turmeric. I do have the turmeric in the green tea in the morning, the matcha green tea. And the turmeric is also in this one. But it is the ginger and the meadow root that helps you sleep. I have this every night. I consider these like medicine. They help me tremendously with my processing at night, and certainly processing and healing my brain as much as possible. I believe in it. Possibly you do too. Do you have green tea? Do you have turmeric? Do you add that to your day? But I will say this year, 2025, I added something. It was a New Year's resolution, which I didn't start until, I don't know, January 5th or 6th, because I don't believe in resolutions. But I realized I need to do something. You're going to think I'm eating Brock's candy, but it did say gratitude jar right there. This became my gratitude jar. I put a note every day, every morning, of something I'm grateful for. An example is today, March 3rd, I am grateful for the sun coming out. I don't have to be grateful for a thing I have. I don't have to be grateful for, I don't put pressure on me what is grateful. Grateful is just truly whatever comes to you. And I do that first thing in the morning. Today, I feel grateful for the sun shining and the blue sky. It's that simple. And another way to look at it too is it can be a reflection jar. And I mention that because I had some really tough days in February. I'm not going to say there aren't more. And it was very difficult for me to find gratefulness and a grateful thought. So I remember seeing a TV show called The Pit, and I started realizing something they reminded me of in that TV show, and it's the Hawaiian mantra or Hawaiian prayer of Ho. Please forgive me if I say this wrong, but it's Ho oponopono, and what you say, and you can say it out loud because that's what I do, anyways. But I say, "I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you, and I love you." For me, I have faith, and I say that for me to God. I say that to the people that have passed away that have meant something in my life. My mother, for example, as we were very close, but certainly others that I was close with that have passed away. I ask them, to hear me say, "I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you, and thank you." And those are some of the things that help me in a balance. I'm not sure of the right words, but it certainly helps me in calming my brain and giving it a chance to work on the next steps. These are things I do every day, as well as exercise, and because you want the oxygen for your brain, you want the oxygen for your body. I do try to read every day. I try to read aloud every day. The aloud is to get my mouth and my jaw and my neck to keep moving, as well as hearing the words and feeling the vibration in my earlobes, in the sense of like music, like vibration. It's important for my brain to work on that for the aphasia. This is why I can speak. I couldn't talk. I couldn't eat. I couldn't swallow. I could barely hold my head up. My whole neck wasn't working right. And these are processes that I've done that I'm hoping you might try. What of these do you think you could try? Even the Ho'oponopono, or even the tea. Abilex, you'd have to order it, but I do recommend it. Certainly talk to your speech therapist or medical team. Look it up. It's been important to me in my process of recovery to do this. This has been very important to get all of this to work right, because I did have the electrodes on my face and they zapped me and everything because everything was just frozen. I didn't know how to move my mouth and my neck. That's aphasia. I had, by the way, it was a cerebellar stroke. My cerebellum, which is at the base of the neck, base of the skull, and it was left-sided, so I had right-sided weakness. And maybe I should show you sometime some of my early writing that I can't understand it. I can't read it. I can't understand what I was trying to write. But I'm hoping you have a great week. It's great to see you. Take care. Bye.